One of the hardest parts about being on a special diet is feeling left out, because eventually you're going to go somewhere where there's nothing you can eat, and that just kind of hurts inside. I've been there so many times in my life, and I have found that if you'll plan ahead and make a recipe that you can take with you or that you can have when everybody else is having dessert, you don't feel so sad about it. Hey everybody, I'm Rachel Ballard, and this is Feast and Farm Cooks, where I teach you how to use food as a healing source so that you can live, love, and do more of what you enjoy. Let's head to the kitchen and make these really easy, really healthy fruit pizza cookies.
To the bowl of your food processor, or in a big large bowl with a mixing spoon, add 2 cups of almond flour, and then 2 tablespoons of both coconut flour and a teaspoon of arrowroot starch. Just dump those in. Then we're going to add a half of a cup of maple sugar. This is an alternative to refined white sugar. You could also use coconut sugar here. And then we'll add a half a teaspoon of unflavored grass-fed beef gelatin. I'm going to leave you a link in the description box for where to pick this up. And I'll link all of the ingredients so you can find those easily. Then we'll also add a half a teaspoon of sea salt. Sea salt is always healthier for you and has better flavor than table salt. And we're just going to blend this up, just to pulse it to mix it together. You can just give it a good stir with a spoon if you're doing it that way. And then we're going to add 8 tablespoons of grass-fed butter. Butter is healthy and amazing for your body. You can always have a dairy substitute, and I'll leave those instructions for you in the description box too. So pulse that together. It takes a couple of minutes for it to form a ball inside the food processor, so be patient. There it is, and we're going to roll this out on a piece of parchment paper. Because there is no gluten in this, it can really stick to stuff, so you want to put it between some parchment paper to get it leveled out. So just use your hand to kind of get the shape started, and then cover it with that second piece of parchment paper. Pin it down with your hips if you have to keep it in place, and roll it into about a 16-inch circle. We're going to bake it directly on the parchment paper, so there's no worry about having to transfer this wrapped around a rolling pin or anything. Keep a really close eye on this while it bakes, because almond flour can burn very, very easily. So don't take your eyes off of it while it's in the oven. Just slide it over onto a rimmed baking sheet, and then we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 350 for about 12 to 13 minutes. To make the filling, we'll do that while everything's baking. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter to a small bowl, and we're going to add in 8 ounces of cream cheese of your choice. Ideally, you want a cream cheese that has been cultured. This Nancy's cream cheese has a probiotic in it. You can use that one. I'm using an organic cultured cream cheese from my grocery store, but if you're going to have dairy, the goal is to make sure that it's always been cultured and says it has live and active cultures on the label. Mix that together and just get everything smooth and beaten up. Add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is my homemade. I can always make you a video for that if you'd like to see, but it's super simple and much more affordable. And then we're going to add a total of a half of a cup or so of maple sugar here. Again, you can use coconut sugar, you could use honey if you preferred, and if you're still into using white sugar, you could use regular powdered sugar if you'd like to. I always taste mine partway through to decide if I need all of the sweetener, and in this case I did. Blend it together until it's evenly mixed, and you can set that aside. The cookies have come out of the oven, and I'm going to be using a 2-inch round cookie cutter to gently cut the shapes that we need. It's a lot easier with gluten-free and grain-free doughs to just do this while it's warm, so you want to do this immediately upon taking them out of the oven. So just gently, I'm not even really pressing all the way down into the dough. I want to make sure it's cut, but while they're hot, they're quite delicate. So just get the shapes in, and as they cool, you can always cut them out the rest of the way. This makes about 24 2-inch cookies. And if you wanted to leave them full size, you don't even have to cut the cookie shape out, and you can use it like a pizza. Once they're totally cool, you're going to come in with your wonderful frosting that you've made and spread that evenly over the cookies. I just put on enough to make sure I've got plenty of space for all my fruit to stick. Once you have all of your cookies frosted, we're going to go ahead and add our fruit. And I used 2 kiwi, a half a cup of blueberries, a half a cup of raspberries, and a half a cup of blackberries. But you can use any combination of fruit you like. Mandarin oranges are really lovely on here. Fresh strawberries would be great. But just pile them on. to each cookie, trying to get a little bit of each fruit on each one. And then you're going to glaze, which this is optional, but I'm using Thrive Market's organic apricot, which this has no sugar in it. It's sweetened only with fruit juice, and I really, really love that. I'll leave you a link below the video to pick that up. I just warmed it up in the microwave, and once it's nice and thin from that heating process, you can gently brush it on your fruit. Totally optional, just gives it a really nice shine. Once everybody is glazed, you can cover everything in plastic wrap and put these cookies in the refrigerator to serve within 1 to 2 hours for the best results. You can keep them in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. The cookie will soften a little bit as it sits, but they're still delicious.
I actually have another dessert recipe that I'm going to post right here for you, and these are for raspberry fools. So if you've never seen a recipe like this, it's a really simple way to clean up what you're eating if you make it with great dairy, and it's a wonderful dessert to take to any party this summer. I'll see you in that recipe, and have a great day.